Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I want to talk a really brief comment about scheduling and timing and critical paths when it comes to roof trusses. I've got a great framer. His name's Anthony, and I know his schedule. I know how long it typically takes for him to frame a main floor, how many square feet, and a second floor. And so I scheduled my trusses to arrive on the 18th, which is next week. Anthony finished up 2 days ago, so I gave Anthony a call. I go, "Hey, what's up? How come you're so fast?" He goes, "I hired 2 more people." So I didn't know that, and so now I'm about 7 days longer on getting my trusses. I could have had my trusses sooner, and so I didn't know that. And so the more you communicate, the better. Here's the other thing. I haven't been on this job site because I've got a site supervisor, my daughter, running the job. And so if I had been on the site, I could have seen, hey, you've got some more guys here. Then I could have really factored that in on my trusses. So that's why it's really important to really know what's going on your job site. I'll talk with my daughter and we'll work that out. Now she's getting a good feel for how fast his framing is and how effective it is. But you want to touch base with people. And I asked Anthony, "Hey, when do you want the trusses?" And he goes, "Well, when do you want them?" I says, "I'd like them tomorrow." And he goes, "They can come tomorrow. I've got forks. I'll be there when you can." So I'm trying to move the schedule up, get them here, because they get rolled. A lot of truss plants are really, really different. This is a really good, interesting sidebar with regard to trusses, because some truss plants will not measure until the final wall is up. They will take a measuring tape, measure the outside of the wall here with the outside of the wall there, and then they'll design their trusses for that design. A lot of truss plants are getting a little more sophisticated than that. They're going down to the chalk line on the base floor, and they're going to string a tape from there outside to outside, and that's going to tell them their trusses, because they're really pretty confident that the wall is going to stay plumb and true all the way up, so they can just build a truss based upon the chalk line down below. You want to talk with your truss plant, because if they're still fidgety and they want to measure the top of wall, the top plate of the wall when it's finished, they won't come out until that's done. Others are now moving into, let's just do it on the chalk line on the foundation. So if that's the case, you want to get your framer on the job site, and this is what I really pressed for. I said, "Anthony, can you go out and chalk line the foundation walls and all that? I got a truss plant estimator coming out and measuring for the trusses." He goes, "Yeah, I'll have it done by 1 o'clock. So I called my truss plant. I says, "It'll be done after 2 o'clock. Gives him an hour of leeway. And so if you're on top of that, then they can get that in the hopper. Now it's in the schedule. But way far in advance, 4 months ago, I put on the schedule for the trusses for the 18th of August. And I've had that in the hopper that far in advance. So you have to really think in advance on framing. This is the part that scares a lot of owner builders, because they just don't know the sequence. And again, I talked about that in the prior post. Sequencing, if your framers and your other subcontractors know the sequencing of things, you're on top of that. That means you need to be on top of it. I do have it's a 5-page flow chart. It's part of my program at How to Build Your Own Home. It's in the download section, so if you do end up purchasing the program, it's a 5-page flow chart, and it basically helps you understand the sequence, what comes next. It's one of the more emailed, texted questions I get from students all the time. Should I do this now, or should I do that later? I've got a student in Colorado, hey Paul, and he was texting me just yesterday on that. Should I do this or should I do that first? And so we talked about that. And I go, if you do this now, it's going to cause a problem for your painters later. So we were able to work through that stuff. Sequencing is really a big issue. But that flow chart that I've created, and I keep perfecting it for slab on grade, walkout basements, stem walls, it's a flow chart to help you with all those different types of builds. And I sit down every 3 to 4 months and I kind of tweak it and keep tweaking it. One of these days I want to get it in a bifold, but I'm not just perfect with it. I want to just keep making it the best it can be. And I'll run into something else and go, oh yeah, I want to put that in the flow chart. So I keep putting it in the flow chart. So you'll see that updated a lot. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to critical paths. Getting your trusses here at the right time is a real big critical path. Nothing else can happen. I'm in a stalemate right now for just about 5 days until the trusses get here, unless I can get them here sooner. So I can't have electricians in here, I can't have HVAC, I can't have plumbing, I can't have anything in here until those trusses are in, because they're going to run a lot of their stuff up above. So critical paths, sequencing, big stuff with how to build your own home. This is Keith Kelch.